Hello there, welcome to Sightline. Today I have a really interesting guest. He is a pediatrician and co-founder of the Mongolian Swiss Pediatric project. So hello, Mr. Raoul Schmid.
Hello, thank you for the invitation.
Thank you for accepting my request. So my first question will be about the project. Can you give us an introduction about the project and when and where did it start?
The project started in 2007 when my friend and co-founder of the project first visited Mongolia. And he met a group of doctors at the National Center for Maternal and Child Health to find out that there is a relevant problem on hip dysplasia in the nation. Mm-hmm. And obviously so far no real solution. Mm-hmm. And since we were experienced for more than 30 years in management of that problem, we thought we could bring in ideas and concepts to improve the situation. Mm-hmm. And since 2007 we've been here yearly. We are working together with a core group of Mongolian doctors at the MCH in order to prevent problems raising from hip dysplasia.
Mm-hmm. So actually, what is hip dysplasia?
Hip dysplasia is a lack of maturation. Probably I can show you. Mm-hmm. We have the upper leg forming the hip. And the ossification, the bone, matures over the head of the leg, ending up in a stable situation. So the child can move, can walk, can run. Okay. In some cases, we're talking about 1 to 2% of the Mongolian babies. Mm-hmm. That maturation is not stable. And therefore, it could occur that the head slips out of the articulation or causes damage on the cartilage between the roof and the leg. Mm. Now, when we speed up that maturation process after birth, we still can heal that problem. Mm-hmm. But we have a time window of only a couple of weeks, like within the first 3 months after birth, where we can prevent future problems on that.
Mm-hmm. So can you describe us how the diagnosis method works?
Yeah. The diagnosis is made by ultrasound. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that most of the Mongolian women know about ultrasound because that's the technique you use when you have the checkup during pregnancy. It is performed at the baby in the first days of life. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely secure method, doesn't cause any harm to the baby. It's quick and it's safe. It's internationally recognized the best method to diagnose hip dysplasia.
Mm-hmm. And how long does it take?
If you have a person who's experienced in doing the check, that won't take longer than a couple of minutes.
Mm. And then who can be the person who are experienced? And do we have that type of people here in Mongolia?
Yeah. 10 years ago we started, again together with the Mongolian experts, a training program. Mm-hmm. To teach how to use the ultrasound in the diagnosis of hip dysplasia. And since then, we have trained more than 200 doctors, mainly children's doctors or radiologists here in Mongolia. Mm-hmm. And they are performing the hip ultrasound. And I can say they perform it at a very high level compared to international standards. It's really they're great. Their work is great, I can say.
Can I ask about numbers? How many children are treated by hip dysplasia?
Well, when we say 1 to 2% of the babies are having dysplasia, we're calculating of a number of 1,000 babies every year born in Mongolia.
Oh, okay.
So far in the project, we have checked more than 300,000 babies for hip dysplasia. And more than 4,500 were successfully treated with a very simple method. Mm-hmm.
Then how the hip dysplasia can be treated? And do we need any type of technologies or something like that?
Yeah. When you catch it early, as I said, you can speed up that maturation process.
For the 3 months after birth, yeah?
In the first weeks of life, exactly. You just have to reduce the pressure of the leg onto the articulation. This is done by simply abducting and flexing the leg. So we make this. And whenever the baby moves the leg, there won't be a pressure to the top, to the roof of the articulation, but more to the center. And then that maturation process can take place. I can probably show you here. I brought with me, I couldn't bring a baby, I hope you understand, but a doll. And that doll is wearing a device that keeps the legs in a flexed position. So the child cannot stretch the legs. Yeah? And it's very light, and it can be easily removed. I show you. We teach the parents how to do it. The parents do the treatment, not us. So what the parents do whenever they change diapers or when they try to bath the baby, they have to open up 2 clippers, plus that closure, and out is the baby. And this is what it looks like. This is a simple, very simple device. This treatment is proved to have no risk at all. And we made a big study with the team of the National Center for Maternal and Child Health, proving that a treatment of average 6 weeks is sufficient to lead to a complete healing of the problem, of a complete maturation. We even made a second study 5 years later to see if those kids that we treated in the study were still healthy. And we could prove that all of them had healthy hips, were normally walking and running and did everything other children did too.
And then where the parents can get this device?
Well, first step is always the screening. So that the child must be screened, must be checked by ultrasound. And this is done in the first 2 days of life at the birth clinic. And the doctors they recognize a dysplasia. So either they start the treatment themselves or they refer the baby to our center here, where our experts start the treatment. And from the onset of the treatment on, they are rechecked every 4 weeks until the healing is there. The babies have to wear that device 23 out of 24 hours. It should only be taken off for changing diapers, changing clothes, or bathing.
Nice. And then it's really interesting that what happens with the children who are not undiagnosed with the hip dysplasia?
When you miss hip dysplasia and there is already some damage done, or the head has slipped out of the articulation, there is still some treatment, but the treatments used are much more difficult. It usually takes months to heal. Either they have to wear a different type of abduction device or a cast, or they need to go to the hospital, or in the worst case, they need an operation. And the results of these types of treatment is not really promising. So in our conviction, it's really a time that matters. When you catch it early, when you have the case or the baby, when you find out early, you can heal the problem. When you find late, it's kind of a repair, and a repair never leads to healing. So even the treated children who were late detected, they still might have a problem for the rest of their lives.
Okay, great. Then it means that after birth, every parents have to make the check about about this risk.
Well, this is the concept of the project, and we are strongly working together also with the Ministry of Health, with health, the city health department, in order to give every child the chance to receive that ultrasound check right after birth, to make sure the hip is okay.
Dysplasia, but hip dysplasia is checking the hip dysplasia is only working on this hospital or all the hospitals of Mongolia. There are so many maternal hospitals here in Mongolia.
We already got pretty far. All the bigger hospitals in the capital are equipped, and the doctors are trained, and also all the central hospitals of the 21 IMACs, they also have trained staff, plus they have the ultrasound machines and treatment devices. So I can say that already we have the chance to reach 70 to 80% of the Mongolian babies with the project.
Okay, thank you very much.
You have to thank the incredible team at the National Center for Maternal and Child Health, because they do the job and they coordinate everything.
So let's talk about the risks about the hip dysplasia. There are any side effects?
Side effects of the treatment?
Of the treatment of hip dysplasia, yes.
This treatment is proved to have no side effects at all, and that is also according to our experience. We've never seen any side effects.
Maybe the parents are doing something wrong and...
Hardly a chance. What we hear from the parents, that the kids need to get used to that device. They are not used to be in that position. Traditionally, as you know, babies are swaddled here in Mongolia. We are not sure, but maybe this is a risk for hip development. So we are planning a study on that too. But besides maybe a little bit of crying at the baby, there is no other risk.
Yes, okay, great.
Other treatments have relevant risks in even leading to more damage on the hip joint in certain cases.
So then, how do you ensure the quality of the assessments?
That has been an important issue from the first day on, and we really wanted not only to give knowledge, but also to make sure the quality of checking is okay. Therefore, we developed an internet-based quality management system, meaning that the doctors can or should upload every document, every picture they make onto an internet server, where it can be checked either within Mongolia by an expert, by a supervisor, or even from Switzerland. That gives us the chance to see what happens, how good is the performance of the check, and even take influence. If you think, something is going wrong, we can immediately kind of give some advice and give some help online.
So is it worthwhile from the economic points of view? It's really interesting.
We are absolutely convinced that it is worthwhile. Even the reduction of costs for the treatment of the late cases, of the missed cases, that will have a positive effect ecologically. If we include the fact that the children we can heal will be healthy members of the society, will be taxpayers if you want, then the benefit is even much bigger. But this is something that you will earn in 20, 30 years. But already the immediate effect in avoiding operations, in avoiding hospitalizations, is ecologically positive.
And do we have enough devices here in Mongolia where we can also, export all the devices? Are there many companies or who are supplying these devices?
Well, our project supplies it. We deliver the ultrasound machines and other materials needed. We also have a book, a textbook on the use of hip ultrasound. Plus, we deliver the needed amount of these abduction devices. So, as I said, we're in constant exchange of information with the Mongolian group. And whenever they need something, they call, they tell us, and we try to organize as soon as possible.
Then how long are we going to be here in Mongolia, and how long the project will take?
Usually 2 groups of Swiss children's doctors are coming in every year. We stay for about 2 weeks for some training, for some coordination. The project, it will last until every baby is screened in Mongolia. We had the goal to be there 2020. Maybe it's going to take a little longer. And then on the long run, we think it is important that the Mongolian doctors take over.
Yes,
it cannot be that we do the work. We can help, we can advise,
yes, of course.
But the Mongolian staff has to take over. And we are preparing that strategically, from the logistic point of view, also with the help of the authorities more and more.
So this project is successfully, can I say that, done or is going? And are you planning to implement another project here in Mongolia?
Well, not so far. I think it's good to focus on that specific topic. We did think about others. We're planning maybe to do some research on infections in hip joints, which is something different, but also affects the same joint. I think first we need to do the job. We need to finish this job, and then we can see. And maybe there is something else I can say. From experience all over Europe, all over the world, Mongolia has become an example in management of hip dysplasia. To my knowledge, nowhere in the world it is done in such a good way, in such perfection as here. So already you're on top.
Okay,
so there's not much more we can give you.
Thank you very much for helping us to treat all the hip dysplasia. And also, I would like to ask about, from our side, from Mongolian side, what we can help from our government side also.
Well, I think it would be good if that strategy would be recognized as important. It is simple. I think you can explain it easily. It makes sense. It has no risks. It would be good if all of us could steer into the same direction and also cooperate. Not everybody in Mongolia is following the same guidelines. That makes it sometimes a little difficult. You hear rumors all over. There are bad things said. We don't like that. We would really like to cooperate with other specialties than children's doctors, with all the hospitals in the country, not only the public ones. And I think this is something we need to work on, and there we need the help of the public, of the media, and of the authorities in this country. Okay,
thank you very much. And I think that to start something is really important, but to continue is more important to start. So thank you very much for your coming here and accepting my request to have an interview.
It has been a pleasure, and again, I would like to forward your thanks and compliments to either the core group of the project at the National Center for Maternal and Child Health, who do an incredible job, and to all the doctors all over the country performing hip ultrasounds and saving the children from disability and having their health and welfare in mind.
And also, I would like to ask that will be my last question. And how many people are come from Switzerland to work on this project? How many are you here on this project?
We are around 10 of us coming here. As I said, some every year, some every second or third year. But so far, we've had about 10 different persons coming to Mongolia.
And then how all the trainings were done for 21st MX here in Mongolia provinces?
Well, first we started doing the training. Now we have a group of Mongolian doctors who train their colleagues and do that in a perfect way. I couldn't do better.
Okay, thank you very much for accepting my request.
You're very welcome. Okay. It's a pleasure.
So that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. I hope that you enjoyed our interview. See you next time with more interesting guests. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.